Hey y'all, it's Silly Girl Blue. Today we're going to talk about Demi from The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives Season 3. This season, Demi has been shunned from the group due to her bullying and lying, this time with a lie that's capable of ruining lives. She claims that she was sexually assaulted by Marciano.
Marciano did sexually assault me.
If you watched my video on Jesse, you would know Marciano is a reality TV personality on the Vanderpump Villa reboot type of thing. I don't know. Honestly, the show wasn't that good to me, but that's where Demi and Marciano met. And Marciano is basically just your typical fuckboy. Like exactly how you would envision a fuckboy, that is Marciano. Demi is claiming that Marciano sexually assaulted her the same night that the two of them supposedly kissed while they were filming Vanderpump Villa.
Everything. She goes around saying I cheated on her when I've never done that to her. I don't know about that. She's the most beautiful woman, amazing. That's like,
Go check in with everyone.
Do you think that there is mutual feelings there between the two?
You're a growing man.
Demi first called this out in a TikTok comment section where she claimed that she had nothing to hide from her husband, but that Marciano sexually assaulted her. She never fully clarifies what the sexual assault was, but she said that it was unwanted touch. So Marciano is actually looking at suing Demi over these allegations because they're obviously so false. So let's just take a look at him letting us know that.
I am very sympathetic to this situation, and why I don't take it lightly is because I do know women that have gone through this before, and I know both sides of it, where they have been believed and where they aren't believed, and why it's so serious. It obviously all started in Vanderpump Villa, and it was a very mutual connection that she was very flirtatious, very touchy-feely with me. So she obviously was giving me the implication that everything was fine.
Obviously, she has claimed that you are a sexual predator.
I'm taking this so seriously because it literally is so damaging to my name and possibly career, to the point where like I still have a job, a basic job.
Are you thinking of like filing a lawsuit against her?
Yes. It's 100% being discussed right now.
After the so-called assault, Demi continued messaging Marciano after the fact, even sent pictures of her daughter to him. So it's kind of hard for people to believe Demi when she was doing this. And luckily, one of her friends, Jesse, called her out on this, and we'll watch that clip here.
You talked to him for months. If he actually assaulted you, why did you continue to talk to him, and why did you send him pictures of and why was talking to him? Going into this meeting, some of those messages were a little bit inappropriate.
So Demi was texting Marciano after the alleged sexual assault, and this is the type of stuff that she was saying. Is this how you sweet talk the ladies? He says, baptized by fire. Oh no. All right, if that's what you want for me. LOL. I didn't realize I was sweet talking you. She says, LOL, I hate you. I was wondering if that was your attempt so I could give you some constructive criticism. 3 out of 10. And he said, you could never hate me. Then he says, oh, she's got skills, huh? Haha, all right, I'll be the judge of that when I see. She says, do I hear a Utah trip in your future? You're coming to church with us so you can see how the Mormons really do things. And he says, well, when you put it like that, yes, how could I refuse? And then he says, no, but seriously, I wouldn't mind going to a service or whatever. Demi says, the name debacle continues. And he says, I'm dead. I can't. Love it. And she says, Martino baby is your contact now until further notice. And he says, oh, I don't know what he says. Maybe, oh, baby or something. This one is the one that really is just like, girl, you have a husband. She says, gonna hurl. He says, LOL, don't be a baby. She said, it's no different than swallowing cum. And I wholeheartedly stand by that. Meanwhile, she's talking about eating oysters. And he says, haha, so fun fact about Demi, doesn't swallow. Got it. I'm never going to be able to eat oysters again and not think about that. And she says, ha 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 ha. Ruined it forever. Enjoy. And, you know, maybe those texts aren't that damning, but still, I just don't think you should be having a relationship like that when you're married. I don't know if y'all agree with that or what, but it's just weird.
I'm just saying, if he assaulted you, why are you sending photos of your daughter to him? Like, well, there was multiple things that, looking back, I was like, why am I still talking to this guy? Like, the behavior does not add up. Why did you continue? There's no right way to handle those situations.
Demi literally has no idea what to say. She is so caught up in her lie. Demi also claimed that after she was sexually assaulted by Marciano, that her husband Brett offered to send him DoorDash, which is just so weird. And we'll actually get into that more later, because I don't know what husband in their right mind would want their wife talking to any man the way Demi talks to Marciano, let alone help him out and spend money on him. It is super duper sus. Also, letting him see your daughter after he apparently sexually assaulted you is completely insane. To me, this means one of two things. One, she is completely making it up to protect her image and her marriage because she did something that she regrets with Marciano. Maybe she really believed that Marciano wanted to just be her friend, but a tidbit of advice for all the ladies out there: men really do only want one thing. If you think a guy is your friend because he just likes you and likes your personality, you need to get a grip on reality and realize that this man is nice to you because at some point he's expecting to get some. Why do you think guys are never friends with girls they find unattractive? Hell, they aren't even nice to girls they find unattractive. The second scenario is that maybe Marciano did take things a step too far for Demi, and maybe she felt coerced into kissing him, or that he touched her and maybe she didn't completely want that, but she was like giving the signs for it. But I do find this scenario highly unlikely, considering Demi was flirting with him and giving him a ton of hints that she was into him. I'm sure if Demi told him no, he wouldn't have pushed it. He gets more than enough girls, honestly. Even just on the show that he's on, bitches love him. I personally think Demi did something she regrets, and instead of admitting it, she's stopping Marciano from ever like talking about what actually happened, because if he comes out and says that they did kiss or do this or that, it would somewhat implicate him in Demi's lie, because it's like, well, if you did that, then maybe she didn't want to do that. Where if he then goes and says, we never did anything, and like I never did anything with her, it would actually make him look good and just make Demi look more like a liar. So it is kind of a slick move on Demi's part, actually. The whole situation too about Demi convincing Marciano to say he had sex with Jesse is super weird to me too, because why would she want that to come out? Isn't a kiss already bad enough? It really makes you wonder if Demi was the one that went all the way with Marciano, and that's why she's now claiming sexual assault, because she was the one who did more than just kiss. I do also still believe, though, that Jesse could have had sex with Marciano, because these three have spun so many different narratives that it's impossible to know what's actually true or not. In my opinion, both of these women had inappropriate relationships with Marciano. At least Jesse had the balls to tell the truth. I also wanted to touch on the fact that Demi tried to garner sympathy and understanding by using Michaela and Macy's own stories of sexual assault basically against them and re-victimizing them by not allowing them to defend themselves. What I mean by that is that Demi knew she was putting them between a rock and a hard place by pulling on their emotional heartstrings and morals, because what kind of victim doesn't believe other victims, you know? I think this whole situation really proves that just because you don't believe one person doesn't mean that you don't believe all victims. That's exactly why there is such thing as a justice system, because stories are not to just be believed off a GP. There's always evidence and proof of what actually happened. It's also interesting to mention that Demi and her first husband, and this is where we're going to wrap back around to Brett, Demi and her first husband were actually the ones who set up her now husband Brett to go on The Bachelorette, Claire Crawley's season. So let's look at this little deep dive into their backstory of their relationship.
He was on Claire Crawley's season of The Bachelorette, but it gets even crazier. Demi was the one who nominated him to be on the show because Brett is 16 years older than her. So when Demi and her ex-husband found out that Brett was going through a divorce from Real Housewives of Salt Lake City's Angie Harrington, which is even more lore, yes, Brett was married to Angie, Demi and her ex-husband decided to nominate Brett for The Bachelorette. While Brett was on The Bachelorette, Demi and her ex-husband ended up getting a divorce, which led to Demi admitting to Brett that she had always had a crush on him. The feelings were mutual.
So after Demi set Brett up with her husband to go on The Bachelorette, Demi and her husband get divorced, and shortly after that, she was with Brett. And now Brett is apparently offering to DoorDash Marciano. This is interesting because to me, it seems like Demi decides on a guy she likes and then makes her husband befriend the guy so she can get closer to him and eventually cheat. Demi really thinks that she's slick, but we can all see right through her. Brett is actually the dumb one in all of this for not realizing that a lot of women just aren't you? Now, this is where the story takes a massive twist. Earlier today, Jessie came out with a bombshell explaining what Fruity Pebbles means. So the Fruity Pebbles thing is a running inside joke for the Mormon wives because one of the girls gifted Demi a box of Fruity Pebbles, but Demi didn't want to say like what it was about. And then it kind of just like there was some more gags in the season with Fruity Pebbles and nobody knew what it meant. So let's just watch this TikTok where Jessie tells us exactly what that meant.
So since she wants to be petty and be an asshole, I think I'm just going to go ahead and say that Grandpa Brett likes to drink her piss like it's dirty soda and he gulps it down like water, and that's what Fruity Pebbles.
My jaw was on the freaking floor when I saw this, let me tell you. That is absolutely disgusting. Like, in your mouth, I get maybe like you and your partner, you're like, pee on me in the shower or something, but just straight up to drink it, like, that's just not right. God did not intend that for us. And honestly, I knew Demi was a freak though, and that's why she's been divorced and remarried, because that bitch is crazy. So I was looking back at this TikTok, and you guys, it's so funny. And in the comments, somebody noticed that Macy commented on this video and said, we. And now it makes sense to us because we, like we, you get it?
Just taste it. Do any of them taste familiar?
You guys are so dumb.
What do you mean? He does. The gold.
No, try it.
My real question is, do you use a straw when you guys do it? A straw!
What's that one?
What's that one? This one?
And yeah, people in the comments are just like, OMFG, oh my God. That is so funny and just so wrong. And then, okay, this is just so funny, you guys. This is a TikTok that I found just making fun of the situation, and it made me laugh. It's just so wrong. Now, if you didn't already think that Brett was weird for drinking piss, here are some comments of him trying like just so hard to defend himself and just embarrassing himself further. And now that we know he's a piss drinker, it's just even worse.
Queen of Hearts responds saying, "You first, Grandpa." And then Brett says, "Grandpa, I'm 47, not trying to be rude here, but your profile pic suggests that you were likely born before me. Either way, not old, not yet. But or possessive, couldn't be more basic, again, the dumbest among us. So calling this person dumb?" Someone commented, "Hold on." Brett responded saying, "The irony of your disgusting statement is wild. You have zero facts, yet you make a definitive, defamatory, and false statement like this. Shame on you, ignorant and shameful."
Also, on a real darker note, let's touch on the way that Demi spoke about Marciano's late father. She left the nastiest comment I've ever seen about Marciano's father, saying that your father would be so disappointed, like looking down on you, and your father this big of a pussy too.
Demi says, "Oop, looks like he deleted it, found his weak spot, looks like he's not so tough after all. Was your dad this big of a kitty too? I'm sure he's looking down so disappointed in what an embarrassment you've turned out to be. There's still time to turn it around and tell the truth."
Marciano did come out and say something, so let's watch him talk about it.
What's up, guys? I don't know why, but for some reason Demi thinks this is some kind of a game. A couple days ago, she posted a video insinuating reality TV is fake. A fan commented, "This is what Marciano felt like." She then commented saying, "I like to play with my food before I eat it," which implies how much of a game this is to her. She is clearly downplaying how serious sexual assault is completely. Like, I'm sorry, Demi, but this is nothing you should be playing with. This is my real life. And with that being said, let's fast forward to yesterday. I did a collab post with Heather McDonald about a podcast we were dropping. She decided to become fully unhinged and go off in the comments. She proceeded to say, "I groped her privates," which obviously never happened, and of course is the first time she is ever mentioning privates. It's hilarious how her story continues to change. It's impossible to keep up with at this point. She then goes back and forth in the comments, now saying, "I have a criminal record." Like, what the fuck is this girl even talking about? I literally got arrested one time in my whole life when I was 19 years old for disorderly conduct because I punched a street sign while I was leaving a bar. Mind you, that was 13 years ago and I've never been in trouble outside of that. Does that sound like I have a criminal record? She then says I deleted the comment, but like I said, this was a collab post where I wasn't able to delete the comments. This girl is literally grasping at anything to try and fix the mess she has created for herself. And last and finally, let's get to the worst part. She then goes on to attack my dead father. She commented, "Was your daddy this big of a pussy too?" And then says he's looking down on me, disappointed and embarrassed with the person I have become. Okay, so now this is where I draw the fucking line. You can attack me, make lies up about me, slander and defame me on TV or the internet, but you come at my father, who is no longer alive, is beyond sickening. Like, what kind of a human are you to stoop so low to attack someone who is deceased? Or even worse, use my late father as a weapon to try and make me look bad or fuck with me, or I don't even know what her intentions were. Either way, she has crossed the line and she is really showing the whole world what kind of a person she really is. I cannot wait to make this girl regret every lie she has ever told. After I get done with dealing with this whole situation legally, I promise you guys, you will never have to see this girl on TV ever again. I will be sure she does not get away with this behavior and never does this to anyone ever again.
I'm not even going to entertain Demi's ridiculous story here, but to stoop that low just shows the type of true evil that Demi is, and that she's the type of person that could really lie with no problem. So if you are like, well, I don't think like normal people don't lie about this. She's not normal. Okay. She's like Blake Lively type fucking psychotic. Anyways, let me know what you think actually happened between Marciano and Demi. And if you think her bitchiness and absolute like fuckedness in all of this is just defensiveness in disguise. It was great talking to you all, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.